Hi guys, welcome to my video of me reacting to my second year results. It's my lowest! I'm not upset. The last and only quantitative module I take. So I'm going to be popping in and out talking through my grades because I've got them all now, and then I'm also going to be popping in clips of me reacting to my results live, and I managed to catch all the reactions live, so I'm super excited to share that with you guys. Otherwise, quick introduction, I'm doing my second year at the University of Leeds. I study BA Sociology, and yeah, I've loved this year, I've loved the course, but of course it is all online, so that is something to keep in mind when reacting to grades, and also when you're reacting to your grades. Don't be too harsh on yourself, especially this year. Now let's get into talking through all my 4 modules, sharing my grades with you, and yeah, my final result. So the first module I got my grades back for is the Sociology of Culture. This was a really good module. It was a bit confusing at times, it was very intense. We covered some really interesting but also different topics like art history, lots of globalization, and we also did tourism, the city, mass media, all that kind of stuff. So the essay I did for this module was compared to approaches to cultural globalization, and I needed to comment on their strengths and weaknesses, and I needed to use particular examples in my essay. So I first looked at Americanization, then I looked at cultural hybridization. One of my favorite examples that I looked at for this essay was the internet and media, and I really looked at how, you know, prosumer culture and how you guys can respond to my video and comment on my video has made globalization much more democratic, and we can get influences from all kinds of countries. However, some theorists, especially ones writing in the 90s, really thought that the internet was going to make the whole world more Americanized, and of course you can argue that it has, but I argued in favour of cultural hybridization. Okay, so I've just come back from town, and last weekend I got an email saying I had the results back for my Sociology of Culture essay, and I decided not to check it then. I wanted to wait because today my Sociology of Gender essay results come out, so I figured I would do 2 at once. So I've just got my laptop here, I am logging on to Minerva. Alright, so I think I'm going to look at my Sociology of Culture first. I'm a bit nervous because obviously this is my first grade back for semester 2, but my average for semester 1 was a high 2-1, it was a 67%, so I'm feeling good and I'm feeling confident. This is probably the module I am most nervous about. Well, I'm nervous about all of them, it's probably this and my stats module, but I'll stop procrastinating, let's get into it. I got a 75, which is, oh my god, that's a first, and I think that's quite a good first, so I'm just gonna read some feedback. Oh, the feedback is so lovely. I'm gonna have a proper scroll through. So far within the essay I just have a couple comments. It's all super positive. Obviously I got a good mark, which I'm very happy about. Currently my only problem is I forgot to capitalize Trump, but does he really deserve it? Yeah, so there are all my comments. My main issue here is a lot of my examples were Western. I did try to combat this because so much of the examples around cultural hybridization is to do with America, but yeah. And I was so happy with this grade. Yeah, this was ecstatic. This was a perfect first one to open. So the next essay I got the grade back was for my debates in childhood and youth module. I loved this module. It was probably my favorite module I took this semester. We did modules about education, about transnational childhoods, about gender in childhood, class in childhood, different sociological approaches to childhood. It was so interesting, and it's definitely influenced kind of what I'm thinking about for my dissertation topic. For my essay I did the question, assess how young people's gendered and sexual behaviours or class practices connect to relationships and sex education messaging. Are programs successful in meeting their goals? So I first analysed the updated RSE programme for 2020. If you're interested in this, do read that. It's really interesting. It is long, but it's incredibly interesting to see how we think RSE should be taught as, you know, young people, and how policymakers are teaching it. Then I looked at different class and gender realities. It's all very complex, but it's how relationship and sex education focuses on don't do this because it's very risky, when really we shouldn't be focusing on risk as a reason not to. There's so much about this, I could really get into it, but it's such a good topic. And then I looked at heteronormativity in the curriculum, and I looked at queer views on the curriculum. And alright, I'm just gonna talk while I get all my pages up for my grades. I'm now under the impression that I have all of my individual grades back. So yeah, I'm just in my like normal loungewear. I don't look particularly good, but I just want to get this open, and obviously we don't always get grades at the most glamorous glamorous times. I'm not sure which order to open them in. I'm going to try my Sociology of Gender essay, which I tried to open yesterday, but I did not have it. I can't see a grade. I don't think this one is out yet again. So we're going to try for 2 of my other modules. My Debates in Childhood and Youth module. This was probably my favourite essay to write. So I am hoping for good things, but I find when this isn't a strictly sociology module, sometimes the writing style can differ between modules and what tutors prefer, but I really did put a lot of passion into this essay and I hope that shows in the grades. So let's have a look. A first. I got a 72, which I'm insanely happy about. I mean, I'll read through the feedback, but it's been a good day. I am pleasantly surprised. Wow, the feedback is so lovely. Whoever marked this, I'm pretty sure is my tutor for this one, said it was an excellent essay. My main issue is trying to, because this is such a broad topic, I was trying to cover so much, and even though to me it was so much more than the full topic, even the smaller parts of it are so much within a 3,000 word essay, so I could have narrowed it down even further. Otherwise, just some longer paragraphs. Yeah, that's basically it for my negative feedback. I'll have a scroll through the actual essay, but I really like how the person who marked this, again, I think it's my tutor for this module, I really liked how they said, here are the good things and here are things you can work on, because I like to make notes of what I can work on, so when I'm writing future essays I can go back on what I can actually improve and not just topic specific things. I was so nervous for this essay because as you continue in university it's like this for many subjects, but when I was writing this particular topic I knew the person who would be marking it. She is an expert in this topic, like very much an expert, and it made me very nervous, you know, obviously presenting my opinions and giving my, you know, well-researched but not as well-rounded knowledge as hers. So I was very nervous about this, and so all of the positive feedback is such an amazing compliment. So I got a 72 for this, which I was insanely happy with, and I'm sure I spoke about this in the reaction, but my teacher for this subject, she is incredibly knowledgeable on this topic, and she is definitely one of the experts in the country, so every time she said like, that's such a good idea, or you really explained this well, I was just incredibly flattered. So obviously these first 2 essays have been first class, and for me that was just insane. My average for last semester was a 67, so that's a really high 2-1, a 60 being a 2-1 and a 70 being a first. I'm aiming overall for a 2-1 to a first. Obviously, you know, first is ideal, but a 2-1 is still amazing. Yeah, super happy with this. Let's get on to the next one. This next one was a full year module, but second semester was on quantitative research. So this whole module is on research methods, quantitative being numbers and stats, and that is very much not my thing. I'm much more into qualitative research, and that's what first semester was on, and I was much more comfortable with that. However, for this semester, all numbers and stuff like that, and it was very hard because we had computer programs that we would normally use but we couldn't go in person, so we had to download them or use Excel instead. There were so many complications, but I just really wanted to get through this module and do my best work. I'm never taking anything like this again, but it is compulsory, I had to take it, so I just wanted to do it as best as I can with what I could muster. So this assignment was not an essay, it was actually a research report, which was interesting, but obviously doing your own research is hard. The topic I did was using published data to develop a critical analysis of the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic in the UK, and I particularly focused on COVID-19 and the impact on women's gender roles within the family. I'm just gonna go for the one I'm most nervous about right now. I think I have it, so this is my research methods module, and yeah, I was really nervous about this one. Honestly, for this one, if I get a 2-2, I will be happy. I just need a solid grade on this. I don't need anything spectacular. I just want to have something solid on this so it doesn't impact my average negatively, because that is what I'm most worried about. Oh god. Oh my god, I got a 2-1, which I got a 64, which is a, I don't know, that's a solid 2-1. I'm very happy with that. I truly thought this was going to be so much worse. Yeah, so I'm gonna have a read through some of the feedback. So this was a research report, and this was the last thing I was doing, like this was my last assignment to hand in, and as I said, I got a good grade, I'm not upset. I did completely forget to include research questions, so my brain was just scrambled by the end of deadline season, but it clearly turned out alright, so I'm okay with that. Whoever marked this, which is totally fine, everyone has their own personal style, had some issues with my writing style, which is fine. I rarely get negative comments on that, so it doesn't particularly, you know, hit a sore spot with me. But also because this was about qualitative data, I found it more difficult to write about than my normal writing. But yeah, that's most of my comments, is just on my writing style, and then also forgetting research questions. But yeah, I'm surprised it went so well. There's a couple grammatical errors, which is like, I read through this twice and I put it through a grammar checker, so my brain just must have been scrambled, as I said, to not notice these things, but it was the last thing I handed in. This always happens, the last thing I hand in, and no matter how much I try, it's really hard to not miss some like very basic things just because of how much your brain has been working. But again, I'm not unhappy with this, I'm very happy. One of the other things that I struggled with in this research report is having statistical data to back up my sources. I find this much easier in a qualitative sense, which is why this will be the last quantitative module I take, the last and only quantitative module I take. So yeah, I'm very happy with that, even though this is entirely not perfect. I'm glad whoever marked it could see the effort that I put into it, and although this is not my specialty, I really did try to the best of my ability, and yeah, I'm glad they saw that, and I'm very happy with my grade for that. So I got a 64 on this. I felt like I did this to the best of my ability, but I knew people would do so much better than me, people who are more perhaps natural with numbers, but I'm so glad that they saw the effort I put in, and I feel like my grade really reflects my effort, and this was very interesting, but I am glad I will never have to do it again, hopefully. And my final module that I got my grade back for is the Sociology of Gender. This was definitely a favourite module. I really enjoyed this one. It was taught incredibly well, and we did topics on obviously feminism, masculinities, feminist activism, the history of feminism, and post-feminism, which is what I wrote my essay on. So the question I answered was, in 2017, Gill argued that post-feminism has tightened its hold on contemporary culture and has made itself virtually hegemonic. Do you agree? Use examples from popular culture to support your answer. So the use of popular culture in this question was what really drew me to it, and post-feminism is super interesting to me. It's kind of like the idea that we don't need feminism anymore, or sort of a twisting of feminism, so it's feminism within capitalism, and it's more girl power than actual traditional feminism. And it's lots of what you see on Instagram, you know, Facebook and Twitter and all that. It's sort of very shallow feminism, so it was very interesting to research, and I'm very interested in this topic. Example-wise, this was one of my favourite essays to write. I used some examples from YouTube. I looked at the makeover paradigm, which is a big thing in post-feminism, the idea that, you know, you can always be improving yourself and you can make yourself over to be better and blah blah blah. Anyway, I looked at makeup YouTube and the makeover paradigm. I also looked at MLMs and how they sort of take feminism for their business purposes, and I also looked at the self-care industry and the idea of selling products to empower yourself. So I'm just about to go on a night out, and my boyfriend is back there and he doesn't want to be on camera, but I got a notification that I have my last grade in, so I'm going to check that really quickly before I leave. What do you think it's going to be? Just don't say anything, just don't say anything. I don't know, it's too much pressure. It could be really bad. This is my essay on post-feminism, girl boss. Girl boss? Girl boss. We love a girl boss. Alright, I'm pressing on. Press it. Oh! Alright. It's my lowest, but it's a 2-1. Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, so good. So they didn't like my introduction, and I think they wanted me to describe post-feminism more rather than to analyse it, but it's a 2-1, so I'm very happy with that. I loved writing this essay, but I got a 62, which, as you can see in the clip, I was a little disappointed by. I was literally on my way out for drinks with friends, so I was a little rushed, so I'll talk about it a bit more here. Whoever marked this didn't quite like the way I structured this essay, which is totally fine, and it's hard to get notes read and stuff because we're not in person. I can't just pop into someone's office and say, can you read these notes, or can I talk this through with you after class? Rather, you know, online you have to make a proper meeting, and people aren't always answering emails, and everyone's working at different times, so I found that really difficult especially with this topic. Also, some of the examples they thought I should have expanded on, like the makeup YouTube thing, they thought that was so good and I could have wrote more about that while I was trying to include more things. I'm not insanely disappointed, this is still a 2-1, but it does lower the average slightly. So my average for second semester is a 68, which is then a 67.5 overall for the year, which is a high 2-1, but depending on grade boundaries, I think I heard it could be a first, but I'm just going to stick with 2-1 because that is the traditional grade boundaries. You know, with COVID, obviously things change, but let's say 2-1 for now, which I'm insanely proud of. So yeah, I really hope you did enjoy this video. And so those are my grades for second year. I am so happy, and honestly, especially in some areas where I was really nervous, I did way better than I expected. And yeah, I hope you guys are all very proud of your grades coming back, whether you're doing A-levels or middle school or university. Let me know down below how you're feeling about your grades. I would love to hear, and let's all support each other, and remember not to be too hard on yourself with grades. Otherwise, if you did like this video, please do like and please do subscribe. I would love to see more of you. And yeah, just thank you so much for watching.